Why knowledge matters.
The short answer is it ties into my life philosophy that you asked me in my first question, trying to make learning engaging, purposeful, and thoughtful for both teachers and students. The larger answer is that this is part of a really a career's quest. One of the first major books I wrote was with Dr. Grant Wiggins, a series of books called Understanding by Design. Understanding by Design is basically a curriculum and assessment planning framework, and it's being used by thousands of teachers around the world, literally around the world. It was the book that launched my writing and consulting career beyond my um, other jobs that I mentioned. So, Understanding by Design has, we propose that the focus of Understanding by Design, of a modern education, in fact, should be to develop and deepen students' understanding of important ideas and processes, ultimately, so they can transfer their learning. I think a modern education should do more than present lots of information and hope students can remember it and use rote learning as the main delivery. A modern education, given the nature of the world, the fact that new opportunities and challenges emerge, the world is unpredictable, as COVID pandemic and the AI phenomena has shown us. And so a modern education should prepare students to be able to navigate new things, even unpredictable things. But you can't transfer something if you don't understand it, right? If all you have is rote learning, all a student can do is give back what was told to them in the way it was told. So the Understanding by Design framework is focusing curriculum and our assessments on teaching and assessing for understanding, building off, of course, basic skills and foundational knowledge, which are the core. But I like to see basic skills and foundational knowledge should be thought of as the floor, not the ceiling of a modern education. We want to build toward understanding and transfer. In our book, and our series of books, by the way, Grant Wiggins and I focused largely on two of three questions. One, what's most worth learning for understanding? What are the big ideas that we want to develop and teach for understanding and transfer within disciplines, and some that cut across disciplines, like critical thinking, with the ability to work well with others in teams? And then the second stage of our quote backward design process is assessment. Here are some questions that we want people to think about. Are we assessing everything that we value the most in education, or mostly the things that are easiest to test and grade or measure? How will we know students really understand and can apply their learning as opposed to remember stuff? How do we make our assessments more like what students will encounter in the real world? The whole idea of authentic or relevant assessment tasks is in that mix. So, largely, our books on Understanding by Design focused on the nature of the curriculum and what's most worth understanding and how we know that kids understand. But the third stage in what we call backward design is how we teach toward those ends. So Grant Wiggins and I put less emphasis in the third question about how we teach because we felt there was a great need in education to help people think more carefully about the content they teach and the way they assess learning. Grant Wiggins and I in 2015 were planning our next book, which was going to be on teaching for understanding and transfer, which was getting into that third question. And I was literally, I had scheduled a trip to his home, which was in Connecticut, where we had each outlined ideas for the book. And then we were going to meet for the weekend and flesh out our outline and start writing. Grant suffered a heart attack the week before our meeting and passed away. It was shocking. It was unexpected. And it put an end to our planned book and to a 25-year friendship and colleagueship. I always wanted to write that book because it would complete the sort of the three-part elements of Understanding by Design. But without Grant, I didn't feel like I could do that. Fortunately, however, I connected with a longtime friend and colleague, Dr. Harvey Silver. And Harvey is literally the most brilliant teacher and developer of instructional materials and tools that I've ever met. And we knew each other for many years, and we've already talked about, hey, we should work together somehow. Well, it was that question that got us united. And I realized that Harvey was just the perfect partner to do what Grant Wiggins and I had envisioned, which was to write a book focusing particularly on teaching that would honor the ideas of understanding by design, but even if a teacher didn't know understanding by design, could benefit. So again, a very long answer, but it's the history of how the book Teaching for Deeper Learning emerged. I am so thankful for the opportunity to work with Harvey, and we're proud of our book. Now I can say more about the particulars, but that's how that came to be.
That's why knowledge matters. Make your life a masterpiece. Visit now programs.d-ykm.com.